It was a Tuesday night, just past midnight. The kind of dead silence you only find in suburban Louisville, Kentucky, when the world's already asleep. My partner, Mark, was dozing in the passenger seat. I was behind the wheel of our ambulance, cruising down Maple Grove Road. Streetlights flickered across empty lawns and identical brick houses. Routine stuff. Then the radio crackled to life. Medic 1, code 3, male, chest pain, possible cardiac arrest. Address, 1742 Willow Creek Lane. My stomach clenched. Cardiac arrest is always a race. And the clock was already running. I hit the sirens. The sudden wail shattered the silence, jerking us into motion. The world outside blurred into streaks of red and blue. We pulled up fast. Tidy lawn, porch light on, front door wide open. But what hit me first was the screaming. A woman's guttural sobs, raw and animalistic, and a man shouting inside, voice hoarse and panicked. I already knew this wasn't going to end well. Inside was chaos. An older man lay sprawled on the floor, face a terrifying shade of gray. His wife was kneeling beside him, weeping uncontrollably. Their son, mid-30s, eyes bloodshot and wild, paced back and forth, yelling at the unresponsive body. Mark and I went into automatic mode, CPR, defibrillator, the usual dance with death. But it was already over. No breath, no pulse, no response. We kept trying anyway, because we had to. But eventually Mark looked up and gave me a tiny shake of the head. That's when it all changed. The room went ice cold. The sun, who'd been eerily silent for a minute, suddenly exploded. "No, what are you doing? Don't stop. Don't you dare stop." He lunged forward. His voice cracked with rage. His hands shook. "You let him die. You were too slow. You killed him." I tried to explain, tried to say we did everything we could, that we got there as fast as humanly possible. But he didn't hear a word. His eyes locked on mine, like I was the only thing he could see. Or hate. "You're a worthless piece of trash. Get out of my house." His mother said nothing, just stared at me, tears streaming down her face, like maybe she agreed. Before I could process it, he lunged. His fist came out of nowhere, cracked me hard across the jaw. My vision flashed white. I stumbled back, the taste of blood flooding my mouth. Mark yelled, tried to grab him, but the guy was in full-blown meltdown, eyes wide, breathing hard, coming straight for me again. I ran. I didn't even think. I just turned and bolted for the door. Behind me, I heard his heavy footsteps pounding the floor. "You're not getting away." I crashed through the front door and into the street, the ambulance lights still flashing. My hands fumbled the keys. I dropped them once, maybe twice. Then, thud. The side of the ambulance shook. Crack, shatter. Glass exploded. He was trying to climb through the back window, screaming like an animal. I don't even remember starting the engine, just slamming it into reverse, tires shrieking as we lurched back, then hitting drive and peeling out down the street. I didn't look back. I didn't stop until we were halfway to Shelbyville. The city lights were gone, just darkness and the hum of the engine. I pulled over, parked on the shoulder. My jaw throbbed. My hands wouldn't stop shaking. I touched my face. Blood. But the real damage wasn't physical. It was the way he looked at me. Like I wasn't a medic trying to help, but death itself. Like I was the one who killed his father. That kind of blame. Sticks. I still drive the ambulance, still take calls. But ever since that night, every time I'm dispatched to a quiet street, every time I walk into someone's home and see their eyes, wide with fear and hope, I feel that cold knot in my stomach because I've seen what grief can do. I've seen how fast sorrow can turn into rage. And I've learned something I never wanted to know. The scariest people aren't hiding in the shadows. Sometimes they answer the door. Sometimes they scream your name. And sometimes they never stop. Because every now and then, when I'm driving late at night, rain hitting the windshield just right, I swear I can still hear him screaming down Willow Creek Lane. And ever since that night, strange things have been happening. It started small. I'd be restocking the rig late at night, alone in the garage, and feel like someone was watching me. Just that crawling sensation, like eyes on the back of your neck. No one ever there. Then came the dreams, always the same. I'm back in the house, same dim lighting, same suffocating silence. The man is on the floor again, dead, gray, unmoving, but his son is gone, at least at first. I bend down to check for a pulse, just like before. But when I look up, the sun's standing over me. His face isn't twisted in rage anymore. It's completely blank, empty, no mouth, no eyes, just skin stretched too tightly over a skull. And yet I can still hear him screaming in my head, "You let him die, him." That's when I wake up, every time, drenched in sweat, gasping like I've forgotten how to breathe. It's been months, but sometimes I still see him, not in dreams, not even hallucinations, just flashes. A man standing too still at the end of the hallway in the hospital. Someone in the crowd at a gas station who vanishes when I blink. A shadow reflected in the rearview mirror, sitting in the back of the ambulance where the window was shattered. I've started sleeping with the lights on. Mark thinks I'm overworked, says I need time off. Maybe he's right, but I can't shake it. There's something that still feels unfinished about that night. Something I can't explain. We've been back on Willow Creek Lane for other calls since. Different houses, different people. But I never forget the number, 1742. And every time we drive past it, even if no one says a word, the rig gets quiet. Almost like it remembers, too. The house always looks empty now. Windows dark, curtains drawn. I once tried to check the system to see if there were any recent calls to that address. Nothing. No records. No forwarding contact. No sign they ever lived there. Sometimes I wonder if I really did something wrong that night. Maybe we could have been faster. Maybe we missed something. Maybe that man's rage had a reason. But then again, sometimes the scariest thing isn't guilt. It's knowing deep down that you did everything right, and they still want you to suffer for it. And that kind of hatred, it doesn't stay in one place. It follows you. I've been an ambulance driver for over 11 years now. Most of my work is in and around Toledo, Ohio, places like Oregon, Perrysburg, and Maumee. I've seen death more times than I can count. Some peaceful, some tragic, but only once did it nearly cost me my life. It started one cold, rainy Monday night in October. I was just wrapping up paperwork at the EMS station off Monroe Street when a high-priority call came in. Male, 58 years old, severe chest pain, shortness of breath. The call came from a neighborhood in Oregon, about 20 minutes away. We rolled out immediately. I was driving. Jake was in the back, prepping gear. The rain was steady. Roads were slick. Visibility? Almost nothing. Halfway there, Jake muttered, "GPS is acting up." It kept rerouting us through unfamiliar, poorly lit side streets. I remember thinking, Not tonight. So we ditched the GPS and followed our instincts. Somehow we found the place. The house was old, 2 stories, front porch light on. A woman, clearly panicked, was already outside, waving us in before we'd even stopped. We rushed inside. The man was on the living room floor, gasping, clutching his chest. His wife knelt beside him, sobbing. Their adult son, maybe mid-30s, stood a few feet back, arms crossed, staring at us, not moving. Jake got to work immediately. Vitals, ECG, nitro spray. I asked a few quick questions, then helped load him onto the stretcher. We got him into the ambulance in under 3 minutes. The son followed us outside, didn't say a word, just stood in the rain in a t-shirt, watching. We took off toward ProMedica Toledo Hospital. Lights flashing, no sirens. Too late for that. 6 minutes out, Jake gave me a look, then said flatly, "He's coding, starting compressions. He worked on him the entire ride. CPR, oxygen, defib. Nothing worked." When we pulled into the ER bay, Jake called it. Time of death, 2:16 a.m. I helped wheel the gurney in. Then we went back out to speak to the family. They were already waiting. The wife collapsed the second she heard the news, screaming, wailing. Then the son turned to me. "You let him die." I blinked. We did everything we could. He was... No. His voice rose. "You were late. You let my father die." I tried to calm him down, but he charged me. His fist connected with the side of my head before I even processed what was happening. I hit the pavement, hard. Everything spun. Jake shouted. Security ran toward us. I stumbled to my feet, bleeding, and ran. I locked myself inside the ambulance. I wasn't just hurt. I was scared. 5 minutes later, I filed the assault report. Security told me to go home for the night. Jake offered to drive me, but I needed air, so I drove myself. That's when things got weird. Stopped at a red light on Summit Street. Out of nowhere, a black sedan pulled up behind me. No headlights, no license plate. The light turned green. I rolled forward. It followed. Close. Too close. I turned. It turned. I took random back streets through downtown, still behind me. Finally, I pulled into the hospital parking lot, right near security. Only then did it keep going. Next morning, when I came back to the ambulance, something caught my eye. Scratched into the rear of the rig were 4 words. "You didn't save him." I froze, looked around. Nothing. No one. Reported it. Filed photos. They said they'd check the cameras. But guess what? Rear lot was under maintenance. No footage. 3 days later, voicemail, blocked number. It was the son. "I saw you again last night. You don't deserve to wear that badge. I'll be seeing you soon." I was rattled. Even Jake started to worry. He offered to let me crash at his place. I said no. Big mistake. 1 week later, I came home after a late shift, nearly 1 a.m., and noticed something under my apartment door. An envelope, no markings. Inside was a photo. It was of me, taken from a distance. I was walking into a gas station on Route 25. On the back was a handwritten message. "You can't run forever." I called it quits that night. Switched to daytime shifts only. Started parking far from home. Changed routes. Filed a full police report, but with no witnesses, no fingerprints, no hard proof. They couldn't do much. I haven't seen the son again. Not in person, but sometimes I still get voicemails, blocked numbers, just breathing. Sometimes whispers, sometimes silence. And every time I'm alone in the back of an ambulance, I feel eyes on me. Because this job, it's not just sirens and speed. Sometimes it's carrying death. And sometimes death doesn't stay in the back of the ambulance. It follows you home. This happened a couple of years ago when I was working as an overnight ambulance driver in Pennsylvania. It was around 12:45 a.m. when I got a call to pick up a body from a small private clinic just outside Scranton. I'd done runs like this before. It was part of the job, and most nights were uneventful, but this one still messes with me. The clinic was quiet when I arrived. A nurse handed me the paperwork and helped load the body into the back of the ambulance. It was sealed and strapped down, the same way it always is. She didn't say much, just gave me a quick nod and disappeared back inside. I got into the driver's seat and started the hour-long drive to the Lehigh Valley Hospital morgue. The fastest route was Route 115, which cuts through a heavily wooded area between Wilkes-Barre and East Stroudsburg. I'd driven that road at night plenty of times. It is narrow, winding, and completely pitch black once you're past the last few street lights. About 20 minutes into the drive, right as I was passing the Thornhurst State Forest, I heard a sound from the back, a soft thud. At first I ignored it. Sometimes the road bumps loosen straps, or the stretcher shifts slightly. Nothing unusual, but then I heard it again. Thud, thud, scrape. It was louder, more deliberate, like something or someone was moving. I turned off the fan, leaned slightly to hear better. It stopped. I tried to shake it off, but I couldn't ignore the growing sense that something was wrong. The air inside the cabin suddenly felt heavy, and I swear I could hear what sounded like breathing. Slow, uneven breathing, coming from right behind the divider door. I didn't look. I didn't want to. I just gripped the wheel tighter and stepped on the gas, pushing through the curves of the forest road faster than I should have. Eventually, I spotted a Sunoco gas station off Route 940 near Mount Pocono, one of the few well-lit places on that route. I pulled in, parked under the lights, and just sat there for a minute, heart racing. I told myself it had to be in my head, just fatigue. I'd been up for hours, but I had to check. I walked to the back of the ambulance, opened the rear doors, and froze. The body bag was no longer fully zipped. It was partially open, enough that I could see the upper chest and face, and its eyes were wide open. I know what you're thinking. Maybe the bag was zipped wrong. Maybe it shifted and unzipped on its own. Maybe the eyes opened from muscle tension or something medical. But what I can't explain is what I saw next. For just a second, I swear on my life, I saw the chest rise as if it was breathing, and then stillness. I slammed the doors shut so fast that they echoed across the parking lot, ran back to the driver's seat, and didn't stop until I reached the hospital in Allentown. I told the staff what happened. One guy laughed and said, "You've been watching too many horror movies." Another nurse just rolled her eyes, but no one really listened. No one believed me. I don't care, because I know what I saw that night, and I never took another overnight shift again. For night shift